Welcome to our series, The Bhagavad Gita for All. Namaskar. Chapter 12, Bhakti Yog or the Yog of Devotion. Klesho dhikata raste sham, avyakta sakta chetasam, avyakta hi gatir dukkhan, dehavad bhiravapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifest, the path of realization is full of tribulations. Worship of the unmanifest is exceedingly difficult for embodied beings. Last week, we began discussing a new chapter, Bhakti Yog. We are now aware that there is a form and a formless aspect of the higher power. It's our devotion that counts if we'd like to experience the power of this force. Let's try to decode some more information on the concept of bhakti. How many of us have planned trips or visits to specially see the murti or the form of the Lord? Temple architecture aside, sometimes we are fascinated by the carvings and the sheer size of a particular murti. Now that is a form of the Lord one is able to see. Because your senses can detect the presence of something around you, your intellect is able to decipher and you offer your devotion. But what if there is no such form to see, nothing for your eyes to detect, nothing for your ears to hear, and yet you want to offer your bhakti, your devotion? How would you do that? Can you do that? A majority of us would be at a wit's end trying to find a way to express ourselves to the Lord in this case. This for you is an example of a formless devotion. It takes self-effort to achieve devotion to the Brahma, the formless aspect of God. Brahma is not just formless. It doesn't have any attributes either. It's nirguna or without qualities, nirvishesh or without attributes, and nirakar or without a form. How is it then possible for you to offer your bhakti to such an entity? Devotion to a form of the Lord is easier because you can chant hymns or listen to shlokas. You can see an image or a murti of the Lord before you, and you can perform actions to please him, such as an arti. These actions make it easier for devotees to unite their consciousness with God. Pleased with the devotion, the Lord is then able to deliver his devotees from mrityu samsara sagarat, or the cycle of birth and death. For a devout, loyal bhakt, how could one get closer to the Lord? Shri Krishna has the answer that he shares with Arjun. All we need is two things. Fix your thinking upon the higher power and surrender the intellect to him. The mind is a step ahead of us at all times, thinking of attractions, desires, and whatnot. On the other hand, the intellect is able to think and analyze, weigh the odds and evens, and then arrive at a conclusion. The intellect, as you may see, is a better friend to you than your mind. Our Vedic scriptures have placed spotlight on the mind too. Captivity in Maya and liberation from it is determined by the mind. If it is attached to the world, one is in bondage. And if the mind is detached from the world, one gets liberated. One relies on one's intellect to make decisions. Think of it as a subject matter expert. So when you file your taxes, you look for the assistance of a CA. When you're sick, you look for a doctor to help you feel better. If your car breaks down, you look for a mechanic. What you're doing is turning to people with expertise to either solve a problem or make sense of what to do next. Living a mortal life, your intellect is subject to thinking like mortals, pursuing material pleasures, thinking that the physical world is an abode of happiness, and so on. Surrendering your intellect will make it easier for you to navigate the complex drive of human life. Shri Krishna presents us with a solution that might sound real easy, but might be one of the hardest to accept. One can also offer bhakti or devotion by performing actions with no desire attached to them. This might seem an impossible feat, way tougher than offering a single-minded concentration. But guess what? This might offer you more peace than any wisdom or knowledge in the world. If you don't believe in an entity such as a higher power or God, does it mean that you cannot get around and drive to your pictured destination? Not quite. Belief apart, you can still exercise detachment from worldly pleasures and keep miles away from our friend Maya. Remember that Maya, an illusion, that which is not what it appears to be. Nothing should stop you from getting closer to what your soul wants. Dhanyavad.